The Arizona sun was blazing overhead, casting long shadows on the open highway as Officer Daniels cruised down Route 66. The road stretched endlessly in both directions, a ribbon of asphalt cutting through the desert. He was enjoying the peaceful drive when whoosh, a Harley roared past him, the engine growling like a wild animal. Daniels glanced at his speedometer, 85 in a 65 zone. With a sigh, he flipped on his lights and siren, accelerating to catch the speeding rider. The biker didn't seem in a hurry to pull over. He took his time, coasting to the shoulder, dust kicking up as his boots hit the ground. The man sat there on his bike, a weathered face partially hidden by dark sunglasses, a long silver ponytail resting on the back of his leather jacket. Daniels approached cautiously, one hand resting on his belt. "Afternoon, sir. You were going a little fast back there. License and registration, please." The old biker reached into his jacket, pulled out his ID, and handed it over. Daniels looked at it, then raised an eyebrow. "It just says Fred. No last name." The biker smirked. "That's right, officer. Just Fred." Daniels chuckled. "Come on, everyone's got a last name. What is it?" The old man leaned back, adjusting his sunglasses. "I used to have one, but I lost it." Now Daniels was intrigued. He crossed his arms, looking the man up and down. "All right, Fred, I'll bite. How exactly does someone lose their last name?" Fred took a deep breath, cracked his knuckles, and settled in. "Well, officer, it's a long story, but since you asked, the rise and fall of a name. I was born Fred Johnson in a small town in Kansas. Smart kid, top of my class, always had big dreams. I decided I wanted to help people, so I worked my tail off and got into med school. Years of grueling study later, I finally made it. I was Fred Johnson, MD. Life was good. I had a nice practice, a fancy office, and even fancier clients. But after a while, being a doctor started feeling routine. So I thought, why not challenge myself? Went back to school and became a dentist too. Now I was Fred Johnson, MD DDS. And let me tell you, officer, having 2 doctor titles? That's real power. Patients trusted me with their lives and their smiles. Money was rolling in. I was living the dream. But you know what they say, pride comes before the fall. Daniels leaned against his cruiser, now fully invested in the tale. What happened? Fred sighed. Her name was Linda, my dental assistant. Beautiful, smart, and trouble wrapped in scrubs. We had a little office romance. But Linda wasn't just trouble. She was contagious. Next thing I knew, I had VD. Daniels winced. Oof, that's rough. Fred nodded solemnly. Oh, you have no idea. See, word got out, and the American Dental Association didn't like that too much. They yanked my DDS faster than a bad molar. So now I was Fred Johnson, MD with VD. The medical board caught wind of my little situation and decided a guy with VD had no business being a doctor either. They took my MD. So now I was just Fred Johnson with VD. Daniels covered his mouth, trying to stifle his laughter. Man, that's brutal. Fred nodded gravely. But we're not done yet, because, you see, the VD, it wasn't done with me either. Took away my dignity, took away my pride, and eventually, it took away my Johnson. Daniels blinked. Wait, you mean? Fred pointed at his lap. Gone, vanished, like a mirage in the desert. For a moment, there was silence. Then, like a dam breaking, Officer Daniels doubled over, laughing so hard he nearly dropped his notepad. Tears streamed down his face as he gasped for air. Fred grinned, tapping the handlebars of his Harley. And that, officer, is how I became just Fred. Still laughing, Daniels wiped his eyes and took a deep breath. You know what, Fred? I was going to give you a ticket, but anyone who's been through all that has suffered enough. Just keep it under the limit, all right? Fred gave a lazy salute. Much obliged, officer. With that, he revved his engine and disappeared down the highway, leaving behind the echo of laughter and one hell of a story.